The war in Ukraine has entered a volatile new phase. The battle lines are no longer confined to the muddy trenches of the Eastern Front, but now extend hundreds of kilometers into the Russian heartland and echo through the diplomatic corridors of Washington, Ankara, and Moscow. We are witnessing a dual escalation, a sharp diplomatic crisis, and a massive surge in long-range military strikes. Today, we break down two major developments that threaten to further destabilize the region. First, the Kremlin is demanding immediate answers from the United States and Turkey regarding a rumored substantial weapons transfer. Second, Ukraine has dramatically intensified its aerial bombardment of Russian military and industrial infrastructure, utilizing domestically produced missiles to hit high-value targets deep inside Russian territory. Let's begin with the diplomatic fallout. Tensions between Moscow and its Western and regional counterparts have reached a boiling point. The Kremlin has officially demanded explanations from both the United States and Turkey over highly sensitive reports. These reports suggest a possible transfer of a substantial stockpile of American weapons and ammunition, currently held in Turkey, directly to Kyiv. Maria Zakharova, the spokeswoman for Russia's foreign ministry, did not mince words. She issued a stern and public warning, cautioning that if these arms are indeed rerouted to the Ukrainian military, it would severely fracture Russia's relations with both Washington and Ankara. Zakharova explicitly stated that such a transfer would cause, quote, serious harm to our bilateral relations. This development places Turkey in a deeply complex position. Ankara has historically attempted to walk a diplomatic tightrope in this conflict, maintaining ties with Moscow while simultaneously supporting Ukraine and fulfilling its obligations as a NATO member. If American weapons stored on Turkish soil are unleashed on the battlefield in Ukraine, it could unravel years of delicate diplomatic maneuvering. While diplomats exchange warnings, the reality on the ground and in the skies is speaking even louder. The armed forces of Ukraine have fundamentally shifted their tactical approach. We are seeing a significant and deliberate escalation in long-range aerial attacks directed squarely at Russian military-industrial facilities and critical energy infrastructure. According to independent conflict monitors, Ukraine's long-range attacks, defined as strikes reaching beyond their usual 200-kilometer operational range, have skyrocketed. In fact, Kyiv carried out 3 times as many of these deep strikes in July as it did in January. The strategy is clear. Bypass the grinding war of attrition on the front lines, degrade the Russian war machine at its source, and bring the consequences of the conflict directly to the Russian home front. This strategy culminated recently in a massive coordinated attack on Russia's southwestern Samara region. Ivan Noskov, the head of the city of Samara, confirmed that Russian air defense units had to repel what he described as a massive missile barrage. Despite their efforts, the strikes penetrated the defensive umbrella, causing localized damage to critical industrial sites and leaving several people injured. The target in Samara was not chosen at random. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky took to social media to confirm that the strike intentionally hit the Samara Progress Center. This facility operates directly under Roscosmos, the Russian state space agency, and plays a vital role in producing advanced electronics and rocket technology for the Russian military. President Zelensky celebrated the operation as a good achievement. He also revealed a critical detail about the weapons used. The strike was carried out using Ukraine's own domestically produced Flamingo missiles. This is a crucial development. By using domestically manufactured weapons, Kyiv bypasses the complex restrictions often placed on Western-supplied long-range munitions, allowing them to strike targets deep inside Russia without needing explicit permission from Washington or London. The Samara Progress Center sits approximately 900 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, proving that Ukraine's indigenous reach is growing more lethal by the day. The Samara strike was just one piece of a broader, highly coordinated offensive. President Zelensky also confirmed that Ukraine successfully targeted the Savaslika air base. Located some 700 kilometers from the front line, this base is a critical launch point for the Russian aircraft that carry the very missiles devastating Ukrainian cities and villages. Furthermore, Ukraine achieved confirmed damage on an oil facility in Ust-Luga, a staggering 800 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. This systematic targeting of energy and logistics hubs is designed to starve the Russian military of fuel and funding. Zelensky made his administration's philosophy crystal clear, stating, "Peace is needed, and this must be evident in Russia through concrete damage to specific facilities." This marks a profound shift in the war's narrative. Ukraine is no longer just defending its own territory. It is actively hunting the infrastructure that sustains the invasion, forcing Russia to stretch its air defenses thin across a vast landmass. Naturally, this escalation has triggered a fierce response. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported an overwhelming volume of incoming fire, claiming its forces intercepted an astonishing 598 Ukrainian drones across 19 different Russian regions, as well as over the Black and Azov Seas. The sheer scale of these drone swarms highlights the intensity of the new aerial war. And the attacks have not been without civilian impact in Russia. In the Moscow region, a 9-year-old child was among those injured after a drone struck a private residence. Simultaneously, Russia has continued its relentless bombardment of Ukrainian territory. In southeastern Ukraine, a tragic Russian strike on an apartment building claimed the life of an infant and injured 11 others. Ukraine's Air Force reported that it had to shoot down 124 out of 152 drones launched by Russia in a single day. Meanwhile, Russian forces actively targeted warehouses and vital infrastructure at Ukrainian ports, attempting to strangle Ukraine's economic lifelines. As the smoke clears on both sides of the border, one thing is certain: the war has entered a wider, more destructive phase. With deep strikes becoming the new normal and diplomatic red lines being tested over potential weapons transfers, the path to peace appears more distant than ever.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.